Mere meat. So what I want to discuss today are the general, how a lot of especially ceremonial magicians look at New Agers. But it's not just ceremonial magicians, it's a lot of people within the occult that sort of single out New Age and just piss on it. And it irritates me because a lot of these people, first of all, they take all of New Age under one. As just have the blanket, oh, it's New Age. That you might as well say the blanket, oh, occult, which New Age is a part of. And it doesn't work that way. There's so many different things within what you can call New Age that to just say, oh, no, all New Agers do this, all New Agers do that, and sort of have that sort of arrogant attitude, that doesn't sit very well with me. Now, here's the thing that a lot of ceremonial magicians have an issue with, and that is that, and I have a bit of an issue with that myself, but that doesn't mean I think that all New Agers are bad people. But what I'm talking about is that is the general. There's a lot of things, but one thing that often comes up is the tendency of New Agers to just sit on their ass and think love and light and believe that that will solve everything. Because there's a general uh, difference here between Western ceremonial magician and New Age. That in Western ceremonial magician you believe that magic enhances what is naturally there. So that, for example, if I want to lose weight, if I just do a ritual to lose weight, then I might have see some results, but generally speaking, then that will just be one factor moving it. If I also then change how I eat and try to get more physically active and so on and so forth, then doing those physical things will help the magic along, so that the magic itself also gets stronger by me working physically towards the same goal, because then I put my will in motion on many different levels. A lot of New Agers, however, seem to have this idea that if they only sit there and think love and light, then everything will solve. And, well, thinking love and light and being positive towards an outcome definitely can bring you part of the way there. It seems like some New Agers, and this isn't all, then that's the problem that some ceremonial magicians seems to have, to understand that it's not all. That some New Agers seem to think that as long as they think love and light, they don't have to do anything else. Then everything is set, and some even have this idea that you shouldn't do anything, because if you do something, then you are distrusting the process and you have to have trust and so on and so forth. Yeah, but trust isn't exactly that. Having trust means that you believe that this is going to happen. It doesn't mean that you cannot do things to strengthen the chance that it does. But yeah, the problem I think that a lot of within ceremonial magic have comes to New Age is that a lot of people, they don't see the diversity. You have, for example, people that use crystals to heal. That's a part of New Age, and generally those are pretty active people and are often very knowledgeable within their field. And a lot of those people also work within other fields within the occult and use their knowledge of stones and crystals there. Uh, and then, of course, you have people who, like I watched a video today about this guy who said that when he was sleeping, he went to the stars and was the commander of a starship. And because the aliens were coming and they were changing the world, and the Earth was turning into a star. You have a certain degree of difference there. And I am not going to sit there and say that he is wrong in his beliefs. In fact, as a chaot, I believe that he's completely, absolutely, 100% right within his beliefs. As long as he believes them, they are true for him. I am only drawing this example up because that's one element of New Age. Another element of New Age is, of course, all these quantum this and quantum that, and you have the New Age angels, and you have it's a very diverse movement. So when you then say all New Agers are like that and New Agers are like this, you ignore that diversity, and I don't believe that is a good thing to do. Now, you can say a lot about the New Age movement, and I think it's a shame that a lot of occultists sort of say, oh no, but they're New Agers, but we are real occultists, because no. How are they any different, really? They just often list exactly the same beliefs. I believe that whatever it is, New Age or anything else, it is good sometimes to get off your high horse and accept that people will have different beliefs. And you don't have to agree with them, but to then go and bash them, I think that is so unnecessary. That's exactly why we have this issue with religions, and when people just can't accept that, oh, I believe this, you believe that, we can have a discussion about it, we're probably not gonna agree, but we'll have a discussion on it and then we'll move on. And yeah, so I mean, one thing that you tend to have with New Age, of course, is that it tends to be a bit of a mishmash of styles, because what's something that very often categorizes New Age is that it is you've gone into the spirituality store and you've just picked whatever you felt was a good thing for you off the shelves, and then you bake your own little religious cake out of that fits just for you. And a lot of people have an issue with that. I don't. I think that works very well. However, yes, are there problems within the New Age movement? Yeah, there is. For example, there has a certain tendency to be a lot of people that will believe anything somebody is saying. And there are a lot of bullshit out there. I mean, anything within the occult, you need to have a pretty fine-tuned bullshit detector. Because there's a lot of people that will try to trick you. There's also a lot of people that have a screw loose out there. And within New Age, they have sort of become the trend that will just accept anything. But here's the thing, that not all New Agers are like that. And I believe that we can learn a lot if we accept New Age more into the arms of the general occult the world, because there's where it belongs. When you listen to, for example, when I have been watching a few of the videos from Wisdom from North, and a lot of the things that the guests on that show say is exactly the same things that you'll find in books on Western ceremonial magic, that you will find in Wicca, that you will find in all of these different occult paths. It's exactly the same thing. Sometimes it's worded a bit differently, but often it's said exactly the same too. So yeah, and the same thing is this idea that no, New Age is just this modern hippie thing. No, it isn't. It's been new. These ideas are pretty old. They're at least as old as Wicca. So, yeah. I believe that there's a lot of value within New Age, and I have no shame in saying that I incorporate a lot of New Age practices within my practice. Now, I consider myself to be a chaot and a pagan, but that doesn't mean I don't include a lot of New Age stuff as well. Especially it's when it comes to stones and crystals and such, but a lot of the other practices too. And while New Age practices tend to be very, very, very right-hand path, and I consider myself to be left-hand path, that doesn't mean there's not a lot of the practices there that I find really fascinating and really useful. So I think that, we have this problem within the occult. We have exactly the same problem as Christians and Muslims and everybody else. That we so want to be right. We so want to be the only one that is right. And then we look down on others because we feel so much better if we can say, oh, well, you know what? Sometimes my spells fail. I set fire to my ritual robes. My kitchen's a mess. My relationship's a mess. My life really sucks. But at least I'm better than these fuckers. And I believe that's a very negative way to go. Now, do I accept everything that's within the New Age sphere? No. But I don't accept everything that's within any other occult sphere either, because it has to do with finding what's right for you. And I don't believe in the idea that you should sit on your ass and be all love and light and not do anything. Because here's the thing, if you want to spread love and light, get your ass out of the house and go down to a soup kitchen and help out there, or help out with some sort of project that helps out nature. Do something. Then your love and light that you're sending towards the planet will be so much more effective. That's my belief. If somebody else wants to sit on their ass and send out love and light all day and do nothing else, that's their prerogative. I don't mind. Their life. So, yeah. And it's not just within New Age. This was just because I've seen a lot of it lately, but Wicca and ceremonial magicians tend to go at one another the same way. I once observed a discussion between Wiccan and a member of the OTO. And it ended with the Wiccan pointing at the OTO magician and screaming, "OTO eats poop!" And the OTO magician saying, "No, you don't! Seriously, people, are you 3 years old?" But while it might be a little bit less childish screaming, you have the same thing when occultists, both ceremonial magicians and witches, and whatever you identify as, attack New Agers non-stop. It's like this. We have a princess in Norway because for some stupid reason we haven't gotten rid of the monarchy. But yes. Anyway, she's a somewhat cool lady. She is a New Ager. She is running a New Age school, and I pointed her out in a occult forum that, hey, we have an occultist among the royalty of Norway. That's pretty cool. No, she's not an occultist because when she does magic, that doesn't count. When she communicates with angels, it doesn't count. Because her ideas within the New Age spirit doesn't count. No, it does count. It's the same thing. It has just been developed with a bit of a different sphere, and even that isn't really true, because a lot of the New Age ideas and the more traditional occultist ideas come from exactly the same place. So here's the thing. New Age is sort of like this bowl of candies from one of those dollar stores or so on and so forth. So at times you will get these awesome candies that cost you almost nothing and are just awesome, and you will get the things that just taste like shit. So, because New Age is this enormous umbrella everything has just been thrown into. But one thing is then not accepting everything in there. The other thing is looking down on the entire umbrella. Because that's just arrogance, and arrogance gets us nowhere. Because there's a lot of things that more traditional occultists can learn from New Agers, and vice versa. So I think that, and one of the most important lessons is actually to just accept that we're all doing the same thing, just in our own ways, and stop being so concerned about being the only ones that are right, and focus on our own practices instead. And that's my 2 cents on the issue. I hope you have a great day, and blessed be.